I rewatch The Shining at least once a year, and somehow each time I find myself discovering something new. It's one of my favourite movies of all time because of the freedom it allows you to have as a viewer. Whether it's something in the background, foreground, or a hidden message in the dialogue, it continues time after time to amaze me with its greatness, and it truly thrives because of the open interpretations that can be made throughout. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this movie too, so please sound off in the comment section below, and please click that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I'd appreciate it. When you really think about this movie, how amazing is it to find a piece of artwork where you can ask a group of people, what did you think this part meant? And once the credits roll, typically each person will come up with a different theory, concept, or conclusion. That's incredible for a movie that was released decades ago, that it can still keep people guessing and theorizing what it truly means and stands for. Now, don't get me wrong, I know some people may find open endings or a plot where not everything is explained to you to be pointless. However, for me, that's what makes this such a good psychological horror thriller, as it aims for you to think, and it wants you to use your imagination. It's almost as if Stanley Kubrick is putting us, the audience, into little Danny Torrance's mind, and through such childlike wonder, our imagination makes a somewhat scary situation become a nightmarish one instead. And trust in me when I say I've done a lot of research on Kubrick and his methods, and can 100% confirm that every single frame in this movie will have been meticulously planned out by him. Nothing you see is accidental, and the brilliance of his mind is how he makes that conscious decision to tell you what he wants and needs you to know, but then he will allow your mind to wonder, contemplate, and inevitably decide what you think each tiny detail means and represents. For me, that works wonders as, like I said previously, repeat viewings of The Shining are so rewarding if you're willing to just open your mind up to the hotel and its powers. Speaking of the hotel, you may be fooled into thinking Jack Torrance is the main character of The Shining, and I wouldn't blame you for thinking this. However, the leading role in this entire movie from beginning till end is actually the hotel itself. The Overlook is the heartbeat of the movie, a beast that's hungry for power, a manipulation machine, and a relic trapped in a time period long forgotten. The hotel has a stench to it of control, as that's all it aims to do, and it latches onto damaged people like Jack, but also seeks out people like Danny because of his shining powers that the hotel so clearly desires to have possession of. The Overlook has its own themes, its own noises, and its own mind. It's deliberately set up to be innocent, and yet we slowly figure out it's in fact evil and an all-consuming entity. Danny is warned from his imaginary friend Tony that we shouldn't go there. The blood elevator vision, flashes of death, the foreshadowing of torment, Tony knew all along, and yet Danny could do nothing to stop the events from unfolding anyway. One of my favourite scenes in the entire movie is such a simple one of just following Danny riding on his little tricycle, and all we can hear is the noise between his wheels and the floorboards and carpets. Sounds insignificant when you say it like that, but just watch this for a second. The stop-start nature of the loud wheel noise as it hits the floorboards should be normal, but in this instance it's kind of unnerving and odd, almost like it's too silent. Funnily enough, each time Danny gets on his tricycle, something strange happens. And I like this as Kubrick has taken the innocence of a kid riding his trike and turned it into something unnerving and scary for young Danny. One time he's riding and we turn the corner and lo and behold, the Grady twins are there ready to beg Danny to play with them forever and ever and ever. Another instance is him gliding along those patterned carpets, and Room 237 calls to him and forces him to stop. Curiosity is a hard thing to fight, and so Danny goes inside and witnesses the true horrors of the Overlook Hotel. A fantastic directorial decision by not showing us what Danny experiences in there, rather we just see his clothes ripped a little bit and him sucking his thumb in a shocked trance. The hotel manipulates each individual in differing ways. It aims to scare young Danny so that it can try and steal his powers, and yet to the already damaged Jack Torrance, it latches onto him easily and puppeteers him into doing its dirty deeds. It fuels his alcoholism during the ballroom scene with Lloyd, and makes Jack feel important during the ballroom party. He's not just the caretaker anymore. He's now the leader. The scene in room 237 is great at showcasing how the hotel can change how each individual perceives things. Jack is shown a beautiful young lady naked in the bathtub, and he is drawn to her and engages in a passionate kiss. But once the hotel has got him into this trap, they reveal the true nature of the woman, who ends up being an elderly lady withering away and with mold-like patches on her body. Jack is repulsed when he opens his eyes mid-kiss to see such a thing, and it perfectly encapsulates that he and many other men that came before him can be easily taken in by the hotel's tricks. One change from book to movie I am especially pleased with is the use of hedges. In the book, they're hedge animals that come to life to torture people and chase them, but in the movie, it's just a hedge maze. Why do I prefer the latter, you may ask? Well, because it adds a more subtle yet brilliant layer to how the hotel works and how it traps people. The hedge maze during the day for guests is fun, exciting, and something to pass the time, whereas in the dark, and especially in a snowstorm, it's eerie, overpowering, and seemingly an endless winding of walkways that you just cannot escape. By using the hedge maze as a conclusion piece for Danny to escape his possessed father, it's so well done. Little Danny has learned the patterns of the maze from exploring it with Wendy, whereas Jack showed no prior interest in the maze itself. It just shapes up the story to showcase despite the hotel's power, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to win every single time, even though prior caretakers and their families have been absorbed by its power. Aside from the hotel being a main character, I do also feel a big force to be reckoned with throughout the entire runtime is in fact the music. It's precise, complementary to the work, and effective in setting the tone. The beauty of The Shining is how it blends impactful music alongside periods of silence. Most horror movies aim to spike the music to accompany a jump scare or a moment they intend to be scary for the audience, whereas The Shining will occasionally place a spike of music in when nothing major happened, almost as a way to keep us on our toes. It could also be a way to show that we can't see all the true horrors that this hotel possesses too. And listen, some of my favourite videos dissecting the music of The Shining, far better than I ever could for you guys, are The Invisible Horror of The Shining and Why The Shining's Music is Genius. Both videos will be linked below should you wish to listen to how specific and intricate the musical score is, because it's one of those things when it's pointed out to you, it then becomes something you cannot ignore, and you do gain an extra layer of appreciation for the final product in the end. Additionally, whilst being iconic at its core, The Shining really thrives when accompanied by the vibrant colours and extreme patterns that are intertwined throughout too. The iconic carpets, the ballroom bathroom glossed in red, room 237 riddled with greens and purples, patterned wallpapers adding a sense of age and a feeling of being trapped in another era are just scattered across the hotel too. There's just something special about how Kubrick mixes powerful and in-your-face colour combinations, but also has subtle and toned-down spaces too. These contradictions of the hotel add to its atmosphere and sense of unrest, unreliability, and discomfort at times. And come on, let's be real, the orange and red carpet will forever remain an iconic staple of this movie, and it has been reused in other movies too as an Easter egg, which is pretty cool. My personal favourite is that in Toy Story, Sid's house has the carpet inside, which is a brilliant showcase of how we just can't trust Sid. On top of all the above aspects of The Shining, whether you made the link or not, the use of mirrors and imagery of similar styles are prevalent throughout. In many cultures and myths, mirrors are considered to be many things. Some say they're portals to the afterlife, a threshold between an ordinary and non-ordinary reality, or that they act as a place to hold trapped souls and therefore can act as a gateway for spirits to traverse into our realm. In many ways, all of the above theories and cultural practices can link to the use of mirrors within The Shining itself. From the beginning, it is showcased when we cross the lake, as the reflections are on show from the first horn blare of music. Now, this doesn't reveal anything that is to come or foreshadow events in the hotel as such, but it's important because it's setting up this intent that you need to be aware of things being upside down or not as they seem, as that's the whole concept of the hotel itself. I won't be able to dive into all the mirroring aspects as there's just far too many, so instead I will talk about some of my favourites. Firstly, when Danny speaks to Tony in the mirror. Tony is a part of Danny's imagination and is only spoken to in the mirror just once before going to the hotel. Through the mirror, we are shown the blood elevator and a look inside the true horrors of the Overlook. One interpretation is that it could be a showcase of a split personality or duality within Danny himself. So now they are considered one instead of Danny and Tony being separate beings. Secondly, the Grady twins act as sort of this example of a real-life mirror, as they're identical twins who walk, talk, and act the same, mirroring each other in the process. It creates a sense of unrest due to them seeming like robots or clones, and the fact that they only appear when something bad has happened or is about to occur really adds to this aspect of dread and mirrored imagery. Thirdly, and most obviously known from this idea of mirrored imagery, is when Danny scribes red rum onto the door in red lipstick. Seemingly possessed by the hotel and taken in by its clutches, he's not aware of what he's doing, and yet Wendy wakes up and sees it written as murder via the mirror, thus exposing the truth of what has happened and what is potentially still to come. It's almost as if the Overlook Hotel is flipped and the mirrors expose the truth and show us the real world. It's very cleverly done, and like I say, there's many other examples of such throughout the entire film, but to showcase them all would just take far too long. And please, if you have any mirror or symmetry parts of the film that you enjoy and I haven't mentioned, please let me know in the comments below, because I always love talking about anything to do with this movie. So to round out this video, let's ask the question: what is a masterpiece? By definition, it's a work of outstanding artistry, skill, or workmanship, and to me, that sums up Kubrick's interpretation of The Shining brilliantly. Each frame has been meticulously planned, staged, and fine-tuned to match his vision. The sets along with the music become their own characters in the film instead of just being considered background imagery or noise. The storytelling is clear and obvious when it intends to be, but also mysterious and open to interpretation when necessary. Combining all elements of this film together and then dissecting them piece by piece, as many people have done since the release in 1980, proves that this is a masterful work and an outstanding contribution to cinema itself. If you are still talking about a work of art decades after its creation in a way that continues to create and drive discussions and theories, I do in fact think you're in the masterpiece category of the film industry. But that's just my opinion, so do you think The Shining is a masterpiece, a work of cinema? Sound off in those comments below. But anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. This is one of my favourite films of all time, so to be able to share why I love it with you means a lot to me, so I hope you enjoyed yourself. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, it would mean a lot to me, but thank you so much for hanging out. Have a good day, I'll see you in the next video, goodbye.